Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Great Day Houston Halloween edition. Joining us in our live studio audience are film students from the University of St. Thomas. This particular class focuses on horror movies. You know the formula. Kids hanging out where they aren't supposed to be and doing things they aren't supposed to do. Or someone created a monster they didn't think would escape and start attacking people. Have you ever wondered what you would do if you were in that situation in real life? Joining us with how scary movies can teach us how to escape a personal horror scene is Dr. Caesar Wright. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Where were you when I was in school? Oh, wait, you weren't born yet. Because this is such a cool class. Horror films. And there's a lot more to them than meets the eye, but you have a degree, one of your advanced degrees is in filmmaking.
Exactly. So what I do is sort of the intersection of technology, culture, and a lot of that includes we create things that reflect our experience in the world. So horror films do that, and they capture a lot of the socio-cultural issues, political issues. So you have something like Night of the Living Dead, which really captured the angst around the civil rights movement, racial tensions in the 1960s. And then you have something like Return of the Living Dead that came around later and really challenged us to think about what are these authoritarian structures, how much trust do we place in government.
Yeah. And then The Purge, for example, that's something that's more recent.
Exactly, and The Purge really connects to those themes, so there's a tradition that connects to those themes raised in Return of the Living Dead. Can we trust the military? Can we trust society? Can we trust our neighbors? And a lot of times humans are the real monster in the horror movies.
Yeah, speaking of, 1.8 million female victims of violent crime in 2022. You remember a story that happened on a college campus that if someone had known just a few of these skills that we're going to show people in a little bit, may have made the difference.
Yes, so when I was the age of these students, one of my friends in college was abducted from campus, raped and murdered. And it turned out that had she been able to resist that attacker for even 3 minutes, another group of students walked by it. She was abducted from campus. So had she been able to resist that attack for 3 minutes, not even hurt this person, not do anything but just defend herself and stop from getting drug away into a car, she would be alive. But she's not because she didn't have those techniques.
Yeah. All right, when you say defend yourself, a lot of people think, okay, mixed martial arts, there are certain ones that come in and out of popularity. One of them right now is Krav Maga, but that relies on some strength and some other things that a lot of women might not have in the match up against a stronger man.
Exactly. So, the difference is those striking martial arts require strength, athleticism, and rarely are you attacked by somebody that's smaller, weaker, and less athletic than you. Rarely does that happen.
There's a reason why top soldiers around the world studied Krav Maga.
Exactly. And so it's great in a certain context. But what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does, and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in particular, is gives that advantage to people that are weaker, that are not as strong, not as aggressive, and it gives you the ability to control the opponent, control the fight without having a lot of strength, but also to control the level of violence. So you can just neutralize that person and stop them from hurting you, or you can submit them, choke them, put them to sleep gently. Maybe it's one of your friends got a little, we call it a jiu-jitsu hug. You choke somebody, put them to sleep, and they wake up tomorrow and learn from their mistakes. Or you can escalate that level of aggression if necessary, and really, take it to another degree. But you don't have to go there immediately, which makes it, I think, a lot better for women and children who may not be comfortable with the level of violence that you have to have in a striking martial art.
You mentioned children there, because we've seen where little children have taken down a grown man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I challenge you, this is a Gracie challenge, it's been around for many years. Go to any jiu-jitsu academy and challenge a green belt, a kid that's 15 years old, and it doesn't matter what you know. If you don't know jiu-jitsu, they will take you down to the ground, they will submit you, and they will end that fight very quickly, and it doesn't matter how much you outweigh them or how much stronger than them you are. And the same thing for women.
And the interesting thing is with jiu-jitsu, you can actually wear somebody out to the point where you're not worth it as a victim anymore. All right, the people who are going to do our examples for us, Chad Knight, he is with Sugarland MMA School, and Chad's a professor level black belt, studied under Royce Gracie, which, Gracie's the one that came up with this method, right? 25 years of mixed martial arts experience and competed on the world level. And Nancy Boriski, she's at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu West Houston, and she teaches women empowered programs, and we'll get more from them in just a second. Okay, let's first look at a couple of horror scenes to begin with. They are in the movies, but a lot of them come from real life situations.
Yeah, in a good horror movie, that horror movie comes from our real life encounters. So pretty much everything you see in a horror movie, you could almost look at it as a documentary. These situations are scary because because we recognize them. Domestic violence, rape scenarios, assaults, and that's what you see reflected in the action and the blocking in these horror movies. So we see it with Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and
they
let's
keep
take a
doing
look.
it too.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at a choking scene with Jason from Friday the 13th, and we'll see how we could get out of something. All right, so he's got his hands around her neck. Chad and Nancy will walk us through what we do here.
So he reaches for a front choke. This is not inherently dangerous. He can't put a lot of pressure. She could step back out of this. The problem is this is a control scenario. So she goes into action right now, flips this around. She could break his arm here. She could leave. But let's watch what happens when she doesn't have that level of control. He grabs her, he uses that, forces her to the ground. Now he gets on top. This is a really dangerous situation from her. He's raining down strikes. Maybe he has, the Freddy glove. Bad situation for her. She needs to stop this from happening. What happens when she has good technique? First, she stops the arm, neutralizes the punches. You see she's grabbing the biceps behind the arms. She's not grabbing his wrist, because if she grabs his wrist...
And that's normally what we do. A lot of times we just grab the wrist, right?
And he can pull out of that and keep striking, right? Instead, she's grabbing behind the arms. She's controlling the arms there. She can't stay here all day. Chad's strong. Eventually, he's going to overpower her. So she has to get out of this. What does she do to escape? She might decide she's going to bump her hips and roll. What happens? No, he bases his arms out. She's not going anywhere. She has to remove one of those arms from the equation before she can bump and roll. She secures the arm, she's grabbing the wrist, and she's grabbing behind the elbow. Now let's try it again. Bump and roll. Oh, still doesn't work because he's got a leg in the mix. Now she has to secure that leg. Her ankle goes behind his foot. She secures the ankle, the arm on this side. Now bump and roll. He has nothing to stop himself from rolling over. She's securing, blocking the punches. Perfect.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where if somebody comes and walks by, then you can scream for help because she neutralized him. All right, let's look at the next one. The pin down pickup with Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, Freddy, stop it. Okay.
Perfect. So this was interesting because Nancy and our jiu-jitsu instructor was also named Nancy, but Nancy in the movie had some basic instincts for jiu-jitsu. She was actually able to roll. She blocked the Freddy glove, and she managed to roll him, but then he got back on top, right? So she wasn't able to control the position, and eventually he's going to wear out. So she needs to reverse this. She needs to use the proper escape. Now she's securing him. She's spreading her knees wide for base. He's not able to get out of this. She's subduing him, but now she needs to advance to a position where she can end this fight.
Let me ask you, Chad, you're really trying to get out of this, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, he's like, yes. Okay, so that's you can see that she just basically, what we discover is the weak spots in every human body, right? The weaker spots.
And notice her position. So her body's low. She's putting a lot of pressure on him. She's using her hips. She's arching her back down, and she's keeping her head low so he can't punch her. He can't gouge her eyes. He can't do anything. So she's pretty much neutralized him at this point.
Another thing, oftentimes we try to pull away, but when you go into the body of somebody, you're right, then they can't hit you in the face because your face is right on top of them.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. In a fight, the closer you are to somebody, the safer you are. And we don't feel that way. In a fight, we want to get away from the person, and that's when you get hurt. So she's very close, and watch. She's going to advance to the next stage. She's going to mount on him. She's climbing over. Now she is in a very dominant position. From here, she can hurt him. She can break his arm, which she's doing right now with this
Don't break it.
Americana. Or she could choke him, or she could just get up and go home. Freddy's learned his lesson. He's going to be a better guy in the future.
And there will be no sequel. Okay, here we go. The Bear Hug, Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, she is somewhat smaller than Leatherface, and so one of the things you do when somebody grabs you from behind, we think we just flail and make ourselves, unstable.
And it's a scary situation. We see this in a lot of surveillance cam videos from gas stations and malls, people getting drug away, women, children. And she did right there, no technique. She's flailing, screaming. It doesn't matter. Chad grabs her, drags her away. Now let's see what happens with a little technique.
She wrapped her leg around his, first of all, so he can't do these things one-legged, and then she pulls it up where she could probably break it.
Exactly, and we'll break that down. A lot going on there. So he grabs her from behind, lifts her up. The first thing she does is hook her leg around, hooks it into his leg. because of physics, it's impossible for him to lift his own body weight off the ground. He can't lift himself up. So he can't go anywhere because she's rooted to him. She's anchored to him. Typically, he's going to fall down at that point, but she stops that from happening. She bases out with her arms. She spreads her legs wide for base. She grabs the back of his heel, pulls it up. Now she could break his knee if she's feeling, woke up, chose violence that day, or she could just walk off and go home.
Yeah, wow. Okay, let me ask you, Chad. Let me get the microphone over here. How often does somebody need to take lessons to be able to do this, like, on the spot?
After one class, you'll learn a move, 2, 3 that could help you that day.
Yeah. That day, but if you want to become like somebody who your instant reflex is to do that, probably a few times a week, couple times in the beginning.
Say once a week is good, twice a week is great, 3 times a week, awesome.
Yeah, all right. And Nancy, you all actually teach a program geared for anybody, but you have one that geared toward women in particular.
Yeah, so we have the Women Empowered program, and it's teaching the 20 most common techniques that for violence perpetrated against women. Okay. So you're going to learn exactly what's happening in real life that's specific to how men perpetrate violence towards women.
All right. Rebecca Alcozer is one of the students at the University of St. Thomas, and you want to bring this to the people on campus as well. And one way that you spread the word is through your new podcast, your new student podcast.
Yes, absolutely. So the Unmuted Podcast is a student-led initiative at the University of St. Thomas in order to combat human trafficking. So the really great thing that we've noticed is that students will actually go and attend these self-defense seminars because people realize this. They realize that people are being abducted, especially here in Houston with this shopping season coming up. And one of the things that we focused on is prevention. Mm-hmm. So prevention through education, which we've been using on the podcast, and we encourage all listeners to tune in at the Unmuted Pod on Instagram and YouTube.
Thank you very much. All right, Dr. Wright, thank you. And thanks to the class. You're all going to stay here because you didn't dress up for nothing. So anyway, for more information on self-defense classes using the Gracie method of Jiu-Jitsu and the Unmuted Student Podcast, go to greatdayhouston.com and we will connect you, and you'll have all those links with your podcast as well. All right, Michael Myers from Halloween is another iconic horror film character that we fear. These students just watched the original Halloween movie that is more than twice their age, but it's still good. Up next, find out how a small crew captured